It's not all happy. Same story, heartbroken, everything, made to feel really down. When he left, he fled, when Corona happened. Like, he fought me for the next 2 weeks until I would agree, but I really didn't. But I've been here almost 9 years and I work here, so I couldn't imagine leaving. No, I'm staying here. And I was alone in Diani and really, really bored. And at the same time, I started messing around on TikTok. And every time I would post something, he would just be like, "That's so cheap. You're so tacky. How could you do this? My woman wouldn't do this." I'm not really that kind of person. And so I went crazy on TikTok.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Daniel Duwa. Welcome to Kenyan Stories. I'd like to thank you gorgeous people for joining me on this episode. And before we get started, I just want to reach out to you and ask you if you can to please go into the donation page. There's a link down in the description below. But if you are on Patreon, patreon.com/Daniel Duwa, please go in there and make a donation. I have 100 more stories to share and you can help me bring this to life. Please go into the patreon.com/Daniel Duwa, patreon.com/Daniel Duwa. I thank you in advance. Now let's get to the show. So you've heard at the top, and that's just a sneak preview of my guest today, and she's TikTok moisturizing star. Her name is Angelina Spencer. Join me in a conversation with her right now.
It was like a good hobby at first, because when he left, he fled, when Corona happened and everything in March. A lot of these foreigners left. Yeah. But I've been here almost 9 years and I work here, so I couldn't imagine leaving. So I told him, no, I'm not going to go. And I was alone in Diani and really, really bored. And my friend was like, try this app, TikTok.
Wait, let's go to the top. Okay, first. So you have a boyfriend or girlfriend?
A boyfriend, yeah.
Okay, so you had a boyfriend and Corona happens and he says, baby, let's leave. Mm-hmm. And then you said,
no, I'm staying here.
I'm leaving without you.
No, he tried. He fought me for the next 2 weeks until I would agree, but I really didn't. And then I told him, look, you go and then I'm going to catch up. And then the whole lockdown happened. And at the same time, I started messing around on TikTok. And every time I would post something, he would just be like, "That's so cheap. You're so tacky. How could you do this? My woman wouldn't do this."
So is it because you felt like you stayed here and you became this thing instead of being there with him and being proper woman? Or?
I don't know what he wanted. Maybe to just leave me with his family and just live like that, but I'm not really that kind of person.
You're totally Kenyan girl, independent and stuff.
I guess so.
Now he leaves you in Diani by yourself, and then what happens?
And so I went crazy on TikTok. I started posting videos and really making the effort and learning the app. And then obviously it got a bit too lonely in Diani. Yeah. People were starting to call me normally they're like, "Oh, Muzungu, Muzungu." But when I would walk the streets of Diani or on the beach, people would be like, "Oh, Corona, Corona," So, and there's a few break-ins and stuff, and luckily I didn't get harmed, but, people were becoming quite desperate because it's such a hard time. Breaking into my friends' houses, so I just thought it's only a matter of time till it happens to me. And I'm just this single girl, alone in the coast. So my friends helped me back to Nairobi. Yeah. And then I got back to Nairobi and continued on with my work. I work as a donors representative. Okay. And I allocate funds and donations from abroad to projects in Kenya that I redeem non-corrupt and I see fit. I'm supporting 1,500 households in Garissa for the next 3 months. Yeah. And we're hoping to build some aquaponic systems in the Asal areas of Kenya.
What's aquaponic?
It's there's tilapia that you have in all these barrels and stuff. And the water that's recycled through them is then the water that's put through all the lettuce or whatever veggies we tend to grow. So it's actually very environmental friendly. It's a new innovative idea to create jobs and food for especially the dry parts of Kenya. Asal areas of Kenya is 87%. If the Asal areas suffer, there's not going to be a Nairobi city anymore.
So now a single girl gets out of Diani, comes back to Nairobi. What was the plan at that point?
Well, the point was to get back into the same line of work, reach out to my donors, find viable projects. I'm actually working with a couple of organizations right now, I said. Yeah.
Sorry, in Corona times or in COVID times, I feel weird every time I say Corona. I just get this negative feeling. When I say COVID, I was like, okay, it's not as bad. Yeah. It is horrible, but still, okay. a negative association. So in this time, is funding even difficult or easier, or what is it?
Well, it's actually the same as usual, but the only problem now is we don't want to get involved with relief work.
Yeah.
We want to get involved with development because there's no point like helping someone for the next 3 months and then afterwards they can't help themselves. So what I'm trying to change is that we help and at the same time make a difference where they can self-sustain themselves after the donations. Because who wants to be begging with their hand out all the time,
Yeah.
And if I just shine enough light in the right places, I feel like people will listen.
But it's status quo that doesn't want that to change, because there are people who benefit from that, from getting donations saying help for a long time.
Of course.
And as you say, this country is extremely wealthy and rich.
And extremely corrupt, unfortunately.
I feel like every country in the world is corrupt.
Yeah.
The story of corruption is easy to go. It's a go-to. Nobody ever talks about the stuff that we do that's working. So, I mean, look at the plastic ban, look at the internet connectivity, look at all the roads and all this other stuff.
I always say I love it here, whenever people have something bad to say, I'm like, you must be seeing the wrong sides, and I'm so sorry for
Yeah.
But there's some great stuff that you can do around here, and this country is beautiful.
But let's get back to you, back into the city. So you got back in here. At that time, you had started to do stuff on TikTok just because you're bored and you needed an outlet, right?
Yeah. And that's a little bit narcissistic, because every time my ex would say I was cheap or I looked like ridiculous doing this, I would look at it in my own videos and it'd make me laugh still. And so I was like, well, if this makes me happy, even looking at myself, this has got to be like a healthy outlet.
Did that make you want to do it even more?
Every time he pissed me off or sent me a mean message, I would just go and do a TikTok because I completely just forget about his nasty comment and I'm just enjoying myself for those 15 seconds.
You guys are dated for how long?
We were like 2.5 years.
So this was kind of like serious?
It was supposed to be serious until he turned into a complete psycho.
Was this your Mr. Forever?
That's what I thought, but now I can't even trust myself, eh?
Yeah, but it takes time to heal, yeah?
Yeah, still doing it.
I don't know if there's actual healing, to be honest. But again, what do I know?
think it's like learning.
Really?
Yeah, you learn, and then you definitely know not to make the same mistakes with the same kind of person. You know the vibes already, so.
In relationships, I don't think we learn.
Really?
Yeah,
That's not good.
But then again, I don't know. Again, it's not like Kenyan Stories.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. So what was your first video that you just like did and you were like, okay, wow, this is amazing?
Actually, it was, I got really good at yoga recently. It's like I went to Sri Lanka, I got certified, so I'm pretty obsessed with yoga. And I was really bored, so I decided to make like the toilet into a face and then just hang upside down in between the toilet walls. And that was just the first TikTok. I don't know why. It was just something random.
Where did the idea come from?
I saw a girl do it upside down on her hands, but I've had confidence to like not use my hands and just hang upside down. I changed it up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you go to Sri Lanka and why did you do yoga? Why did you choose yoga?
Well, because I was doing the humanitarian work for a really long time. And after a while, I felt like I was getting a bit lost in the devastation. And I started getting really sad after a while.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd do something for myself. So I went to Sri Lanka to get certified in yoga.
Why Sri Lanka? Because I mean, you pick India, Pakistan, one of these. Sri Lanka is not one of those countries you wake up in the morning. Like if you ask 100 people anywhere in the world, okay, except Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka is, nobody would have an idea where it is. For most part, is it between India and Pakistan? You know what I mean?
But it's like it's also a really amazing kite surfing destination, and I kite surf as well. Apparently, Sri Lanka was just one of the spots to visit, so I kite surfed at the same time fell into yoga.
You do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I do. I have to keep really busy because I have really
Why?
bad anxiety.
What causes your anxiety?
I don't know. I can't really explain it. I think I'm just like born with it, maybe something happened in the womb. I don't know, because it's like I don't have any triggers. I'm just really, really anxious person.
Like what about are you anxious?
Like meeting new people, trusting people, for example. Public anxiety, like when people stare, they're probably just looking to be nice, and I just don't like it. I like to stay at home and hide a lot, or always keep my mask on, because then I feel like no one will really know who I am. It's very strange.
I kind of understand why. I'm extremely, extremely shy. And I found out very early on when I was a kid that when you do very public stuff, people don't see you, they see what you do. And I started doing those things. You know what I mean? And I'm still shy.
But you're not shy like meeting people.
Me being shy doesn't help me or anybody else.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'd rather just, okay, I am shy, I'm not changing. The shyness doesn't change. But what do I do with the shyness?
Yeah, how do you work with it, you know?
Yeah, so that kind of opened me to all these things.
Well,
So-
that's nice.
So when I'm shooting a film and a film director, nobody goes like, oh, he's very shy. You go like, oh my goodness, you need to do
He's
this.
serious. He knows
Yeah.
what he's doing, you know? So that's good.
Exactly.
Works to your advantage.
Yeah. You're very flexible and very athletic, very beautiful. Why would you be anxious? Imagine a girl is sitting at home looking at you and go like, what does she have to complain about? Whatever their issue is, and they look at you and go like, person who has everything going for them.
Oh, but I mean, I'm not like depressed or I don't think that I need more or, oh, woe is me. The anxiety just comes from overthinking things too much. You know, like what I do for work is not exactly the most relaxing form of employment. I see a lot of devastation and stuff around, and that makes me anxious because, I don't know, you can never just make big enough of a difference for everything to end. And I don't know how to just go home and forget about everything I work with or people I work with, you know? So I think the anxiety also comes from there. And the fact that I'm getting older and
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Yeah? You look 16, so...
Shush.
I mean, come on. I mean, have you ever walked in a room and people go like, okay, do people guess your age correctly?
No, never.
Exactly, so...
But it's probably because I'm doing crazy things on
No.
TikTok.
This is what, to be honest, this is what we can call beautiful people problem, in a way, right? We have to put it in context because a lot of people, if you walk down the street, people age and they're not aging gracefully, and it's genetics, it's choices, it's the alcohol, whatever it is. Somebody hasn't smoked, but then they're overweight, and they hate you. They look at you and go like, why do I have to be? You know what I mean?
Anxiety. It's the anxiety that makes me lose the weight.
you see what I mean? And again, it sounds like I'm a doctor. I'm not. The thing I've found out is when you look at the general population, and then you look at yourself and you see where you are, can that help your anxiety or something? I don't know. You know.
If I were shallow enough to just look in the mirror and be like, oh, I look nice, no more anxiety, then I would love that.
But what's
it's-
wrong with that?
Because it's deeper than that. Like
Why?
I get judged by my looks, and people don't assume that I actually have a proper job because of the way I look a lot of the times. So it makes me kind of sick of it. It's like not working to my advantage.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Your job actually saves families, right? And you look the way you look. Why can't you exist in both worlds?
Because they don't take me
what-
seriously.
Who's your favorite film star?
I would just have to say Angelina Jolie because my
That's-
name's Angelina.
No, we know her for being in a movie, right?
Yeah.
A pretty girl in a movie, all that stuff, right? And then she's humanitarian. It doesn't take away from her.
Yeah.
Why can't you exist in both worlds? Because I feel like there's benefit there. You
Because
can be
believe
this.
it or not, I'm shy when it comes to that stuff.
But you're a TikTok star.
No, not
Because
really.
You don't like when I call
See,
you
for
that.
me, it's like it feels like it's private because I don't know any of these people that are following, and I never have to see them. And I always choose different spots, and with the mask, no one recognizes me. No one even notices sometimes when I'm dancing. You know, it's like a little escape where it's private at the same time. But now, like for example, coming to meet you and just this camera on, it's making my armpits sweat like incredibly. You know, it's just. I don't think it's good to bank on looks.
Why are you banking? You already got them.
That's what I believe in.
The thing that inspires me about you is like you don't care. You just like go into these spaces and you're just dancing. And for me, that's inspiration. I don't know if I'm like reading it
Thanks.
wrong.
I mean, I also want to show people that like, look, there's fun stuff going on in Nairobi. It's not just all this bad stuff that you have to say. Like people think that if I go into the middle of town, I'm going to be kidnapped or robbed. I was like, well, look, I've danced in the middle of town. And did anybody bother me? No. Like, get it out of your heads that...
And how do you do it? You just wake up in the morning and go like, I'm going to dance.
Well, actually, the one in town was, we were waiting for the Bolt to take us back home, my colleague and I. She's like, hey, do you want to do like a dance, like a TikTok dance since we're here? And I was like, sure. And she wanted me to do it outside Stanley Sarova. And I was like, no, how about this just there in the middle of the road? And it's just random like that. But now it's not so random. Now I'm like actually doing some of people's challenges, you know?
There's a part of us that want to be exhibitionist. And just want people to see that we have whatever this thing is. And there's a part of us who's like, oh, let's be proper. Again, what you're running from is being proper.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, you have this job that's really demanding and really depressing sometimes, and you want an escape. If proper and escape combined together.
That's the plan long term. I'm waiting for enough followers, and it's not going to be all happy dances anymore. It's going to be like, boom, this is what's happening in Kenya.
Yeah.
This is what we need to try and change.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping to introduce like this forest that people are cutting down trees from with endangered animals somewhere here in Kenya. So I'm hoping to shine some light on that. And if there's enough light that circulates, especially it reaches abroad, then people won't be allowed to illegally cut down this forest anymore here.
Why do you care for forests so much?
I care for anything that will make this country better. Yeah. See, what you see on TikTok is like a just completely different person.
It's just one video like, okay, wow. But I was like, you're crazy. We need to talk.
Yeah. I'm a bit nuts.
But how nuts are you?
Like, I could be anywhere, anytime, and you'd be like, do this right now. Like, on the spot. I don't care who I'm with or who's around me, as long as it's not my colleagues.
Yeah.
And I'll do it.
What kind of family did you come from?
My mother's Portuguese Filipino. My dad's English. But I'm not very close with my father, but I have 3 younger brothers that I'm very close with.
So
And
is it attention seeking, would you say?
it can be attention seeking if the mask is on and I run away right after. It's almost like this adrenaline that I get when I do it. For the few seconds that I hear the music, there's nothing else around me. Like nothing else. I'm just trying to get those moves right. And then when I'm done and I look around at people's reactions, it's like my heart starts to race. And it almost feels like it's bigger than anxiety. So I don't even get anxious from it. I get excited. I don't know how to explain it, but every time I have a negative emotion, I'm like, I'm going to go do a TikTok. And then I'm just all excited afterwards, and that's the end of the negative emotion.
Growing up, we had these sets on TV, and they used to shoot the stuff on the boxes, and I was like, no, we can't do that. And we shot the first hidden camera show for TV in Kenya. It was called Crazy Kenyans.
Okay.
The show was all about the reactions, but for me, it was like that cutting tree thing. Most people don't know Nairobi, so they ask you about this stuff. I was so tired of when every time I travel, I have to explain to people what this is. We just shot on the streets in Nairobi on those buildings, so they'll be like, oh, that's where I go for banking, whatever it is. Again, also, it was that idea of putting us in the screen. So ordinary people were going about their ordinary business, just getting pranked and laughed and stuff. You put cameras in front of people, they'd stiff up.
Yeah.
So now you have people on camera, so they get used to that, and watching the reaction of people. And for me, it's very unfortunate 15 years down the road, they're still doing the same show.
Yeah.
We haven't grown very far from there. So, and I see a bit of that in you. I also see, is there like a further issue there? Getting attention from authority or breaking the rule or something. And have you ever also gotten into trouble for shooting in public?
Actually, I asked a lawyer about it because people kept saying I was going to get arrested.
Yeah.
And there's no law against doing a little dance and filming it as long as you're not catching any criminal activity. And there's not even a law against doing a video with law enforcement in it. I looked it up and everything. So I wouldn't really say I'm breaking the law. I'm more shocking people, and that's... If I wanted to break the law, I would do State House like 2 weeks ago. But I don't want to get shot, so...
No, you can get shot.
That's what everyone says.
No, you can get... But I also feel like if you wanted to do State House, they would allow you to. Because it's good PR for them, and people love PR.
Do you think?
You'd dance with the president if you wanted to.
No, I meant just by the gates.
Okay, that's a bit of an issue because there's no filming policy in certain of those places. If you treat them and say, I want to dance at the State House, I think
Oh my goodness, they're going to be like, who are you,
No,
girl?
they would. People have done all of these things. If you really want. And for me, that's the beauty of living in Kenya. So long as you ask, Yeah.
Maybe. But I also don't want people to continue to say white privilege and stuff. I've been getting a few of those.
Do you have white privilege?
I don't think so.
Because you have pretty girl privilege.
Oh, thanks. But with the mask on, I don't think that's what allows me to dance in public.
Kind of does. If you are a Kenyan African girl, let's say, do you think you'd get away with it? It'd be a bit of an issue, right?
Well, I have a Somali Kenyan girlfriend, and she gets away with it just fine.
I'm Muslim too. You see what I mean? Like, for example, I'm a guy. When I walk into a room, there are certain perceptions people will have. Sometimes they're positive.
Yeah.
So there's privilege, and there's also the opposite of whatever that privilege is. And for me, I feel like if we put them out here, then we can deal with it. And that's why I do the podcast.
But all I can tell you so far is I haven't bribed any cops, any shop attendants. I've just been doing this freely and without any trouble.
It makes you really happy, yeah?
It does. It really excites me to do it. And I see people's reactions when I accept their challenges, and that's what I really love. You know, like if I see a funny video that makes me laugh out loud, I will immediately copy that video and send it out to this part. So hoping like I can get someone to laugh at the same thing. So yeah, I kind of like it.
What message have you gotten back from one of your viewers that just touched your life and just left you crying?
I'm not crying, but very touched. The ones that say they were going through like a really hard time and seeing my video actually made them laugh when they didn't think they were going to laugh for the next few days. Or some people going through depression and they see how I make light of depression and mental health issues to show that everyone has them to a certain extent and it's completely okay to laugh about it.
Yeah.
No one's making fun of you. So especially people with for like mental health awareness, that's normally the ones that touch me the most. Because if a 15-second video can make you feel good and it's the one I did, that just makes the video worth it.
But it's not only 15 seconds, because that's a whole lifetime for someone who's going through something. Or just one of the most important things is laughter, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we escape into movies and music and all these other things. So what you're doing is not just a 15-second thing. I mean, how long does it take you to make a video?
The ones I do in public is one take.
You don't rehearse?
No. I look at a dance, I watch it maybe 5, 6, 7 times, and then I do the same dance. That's it.
5, 6, 7 times?
Yeah.
Then do you do the moves or you just...
I mean, I do the moves like a little bit, but not to tire myself out, and then I'll put on the full energy when it's recording time. There's this thing that they reached out on TikTok, and they're like, if you want to be part of the East African creators, like you have to do a few challenges. And I particularly am not the kind of person that can just dance in front of my phone by myself, you know?
Okay.
I don't really enjoy those ones. So if I have to join in on a dance challenge, I'd much rather do it in public. Just
Okay.
makes it more fun.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's a bit different.
Wow. Okay. What has been the hardest dance to do? And why?
I don't think I've found any hard dances, but I definitely plan on trying one hard dance today.
Which is?
It's I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a trend where you pretend to slit your throat, hang to the side. Oh shit. Rotate, do a few dances, and
Why would you do something like that?
what do you mean?
Like you're cutting your throat. Why would you cut your throat?
Because that's just that's the dance move of the challenge, you know? There's some dances I can make up on my own and some you just have to kind of stick by the challenge, otherwise.
What do your parents say about this?
They don't know. Actually, I don't even use my first name on TikTok. I use my middle name just to make sure my dad doesn't find out.
But what if he finds out? What happens?
I don't know. I just would.
Do you care?
Of course.
Why?
I mean, because he's very strict and very proper. He already doesn't understand the kind of adult I've grown into as it is. And now
What do you mean?
Well, you know, like I moved all the way to Kenya. I'm in the line of work that I'm in when he's all about money and business and very posh and all that. And now I'm doing TikToks of dancing all over the streets of Nairobi, which he considers incredibly dangerous. So if he were to see some of these dancing in public, I mean, he would just think I've lost my mind.
Do you think this is why you do it? Is this just you rebelling from everything and just coming into yourself and go like, this is who I am?
It's basically telling people, like, I really don't care. Like, I'm going to do what I find fun as long as I don't harm anybody and cause any trouble. And it's innocent fun. I'm going to do it if I find it fun.
Were you very proper when you're in your 20s and like
Very,
teens? Like
very.
proper.
Like, I didn't do the whole partying in uni. I didn't do the whole... I've never even been to a rave up until this age. Like, the biggest rave I went to is the Khalifi New Year's thing once. And, yeah, I just...
Why?
Because I was focused on studies and I had to look after my baby brothers when my mom left. And
Your mom left?
Yeah, my mom left us when we were quite young.
With your dad?
No, she left us with like a caretaker. My dad would come visit because he was traveling a lot for work.
Where did your mom go? Sorry.
We're gonna take a break right now. I'd like to thank you again for joining me on this Kenyan Stories. It's amazing that you're here and I appreciate you. And also, I would appreciate very much if you can go to Daniel Duwa Books on Amazon. Daniel Duwa Books on Amazon and get yourself a copy. In that way, you get to support this work. And also, if you're so inclined, you can sign up for business leadership training session with me. That is Daniel Duwa Business Leadership Coaching. The description is in the show notes below. And finally, also, if you're so inclined and you love art or merchandise, you can go to the Love Art Store by Daniel Duwa. Again, these are ways you can support this work. Of course, there's the donate button, patreon.com/Daniel Duwa, or a direct donation link is in the show notes below. All the details are in the show notes below. Again, thank you very much for joining me. Let's get back to the show.
I think she just decided, like, okay, I popped you guys out. I got some money from the divorce, and I'm out.
Oh, so after the divorce, she left?
Yeah.
But then your dad was not also around?
Yeah, he wasn't around because we lived with our mother.
You had to be an adult very quickly.
Oh, yeah, of course, because my brothers are a lot younger than me. Like 7 years difference, 9 years difference, and then 11 years.
You raise them, and then you go to uni. You still have to be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like now is the time to be a teen for the first time in your life?
Yeah.
Your mom leaves, you raise your siblings, your dad comes on back.
Yeah, he was always there for us financially.
You go to uni, you're an adult. So when you left uni, did you start having a relationship with a boyfriend or with a boyfriend?
No, after uni, I kind of just stayed from job to job, which made me move to like 3 different countries.
Yeah.
So boyfriends were just like partners for the time because I'd end up leaving. And then, then I came to Kenya and met the boyfriend that I was supposed to stay with. That didn't work out, but I guess my relationship is with this country. I'm not a person, and I'm okay with that.
I don't know about being okay. I feel like it's a journey.
These past few years is where I'm not locked down.
How does it feel to have this freedom now?
It's a little bit scary, sometimes sad, because you always want to share good things with anyone you love. So, I'm going to have to get used to doing it on my own and still be okay with that. But, I'm excited.
What would a good boyfriend look like for you right now? Knowing what you know now. Boyfriend.
Just someone who isn't going to treat you badly.
What does that mean?
Well, they need to know how to love themselves and how to take care of themselves before they even think to get in a relationship.
That's the stuff they write in postcards and stuff. We're talking to real people here, right?
Yeah.
What are these things that you should be treated right? Because half of the people don't even have an idea what's right.
I base it on how I see the person treat themselves. Like how I see their hygiene, how I see their home, how I see them treat staff and their friends, how they are in punctuality. It's basically you just judge the person completely on how they are with themselves. And then you see if they're either worthy or you're equal or not.
So that's what you're looking for?
Definitely. I feel like how a person treats another person is very important to me. I judge very quick on that. Yeah.
Do you think we treat each other well, especially now during this COVID period? We find there's been a lot of reflection. Do we treat each other well? Do we need to do more?
We definitely do need to take the virus a little bit more seriously. But I don't know. In my mind, I kind of feel like because the Kenyan diet is very different, all the preservatives that people live off in other countries, I have a feeling maybe that's why people aren't getting that sick. People should just be less mean to each other. It's already such a hard time. There's no need to be even angrier about it. I get the time is rougher for everybody, but that's for everybody.
Okay.
I'm hoping to remind people, especially in the city, you may think you have it the worst, but no, 87% of the rest of your country is actually suffering way worse. And one day I'll get to talk about it.
What's, for example, so now what if this becomes a career? What does that look like for you, this TikTok thing?
Oh, the TikTok thing's never going to become a career. That's no way.
You have people who wake up in the morning and can't wait to see your videos, right?
Career is what you do with the rest of your time, no? Basically, what's your...
It could be all of it. Why not? Again,
your passion, what drives you.
Remember what we were talking about before? Why do you have to choose one? Because if you have to choose one, you're falling into the same, like what your dad would have wanted you to be. But then you're that, but then you're also all these other things. You're the sum of all these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if today this became a thing...
Yeah. I'm joking.
if this became a thing, what would you do with that? You have a following now, right? Mm-hmm. And not to be scared. There are people who wake up in the morning and they watch your stuff and go I wanna be like that. I wanna do stuff like that. I want to, whatever that is. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. First of all, I don't want people from my side of work to know about it yet. because then they'll just think that there's definitely something really unstable with me, and they might, reevaluate my job title. That's like worst case scenario.
You think so?
I mean,
you don't think we've gone to a point where you can exist in two different worlds?
I think we're getting there definitely very soon, but I was hoping to just maybe wait for a bit more followers before I throw the humanitarian side into it. And then that's when I'll probably do a big reveal as to why I'm doing all this.
Why do you have to explain it?
Because I want people to know. I want to create awareness at the end of the day.
But-
I don't
but
want to
the
be famous for just living in Kenya. I want to be famous for enlightening most of the public as to what the government might be hiding from them.
But the people who are watching your video, I read this when I was a kid. Michael Jordan, I sell shoes to everyone, not just Republican, Democrats, or Liberals. I just sell shoes to everyone. So I'm not into your politics, yeah?
Yeah.
I just want to give you the best footwear. When I come to watch your videos, I just want this pretty girl to dance. And you know what I mean?
And I will.
Like, that's what I've signed up for. One thing that I'm struggling to understand is, just by your existence, you exist in many different worlds already. You're Portuguese, you're Filipino, you are
English.
You're a woman, you're a young girl, like it's all mixed up. But then it's so easy for you to put. Why do you want to put it in a box? Is that the Filipino side?
They put it in a box.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily trying to put it in a box. I'm taking two completely boxes and then just putting them side by side of each other. Yeah, because I do eventually want to create awareness with dances in front of, for example, let's say around the dog camp. I wouldn't be doing like a sexy dance challenge, but I'd be doing a particular challenge with the background, and the work that's being done and the changes that are trying to be made. So I'm starting with the streets of Nairobi first, and then it'll end up in, for example, like orphanages or schools or universities. So just to create a bit more attention on that particular establishment or organization, and then hopefully people will just, that one humanitarian, that person that sees that video will want to look into it and help as well.
How much do you feel you've grown?
I definitely have a little bit less anxiety in public, which has really helped. I tend to not really give a crap that much anymore about what people think, because I've already embarrassed myself in so many videos. So it really helped me not feel so low about being alone. Just pretty content with myself. So yeah, that's basically what this silly little app has helped me do.
Something I've never understood about that app. You find a lot of girls are kind of apologetic, yeah? I'm just doing this for fun, whatever it is. I remember when I started writing, I was like, okay, I want to write and I want to be published as a ghostwriter. I don't want my name there because I'm shy.
Really?
But I want to be identified as a writer.
Yeah.
So right now, when you look at that app, and most of them are very sexual dances, almost 90% all sexual.
Well, I mean, that's definitely not what I'm seeing on my page. I definitely don't see 90% sexual. I see like maybe 20% of it. And sometimes I think, like I've done a couple of like hip twisting videos, which I tried. And to be honest, at those moments where I did those couple of videos, I wanted to feel good about myself. I saw something that someone did that looked really sexy. And I wanted to know if my body could do the same thing. And watching it over again, I was like, damn, like you can be sexy or cute or ugly or sick. You can be...
So is the older generations that are now getting, this is part of your expression. When a girl is doing a very erotic dance on TikTok, she's celebrating herself. I feel like the age bracket's really, really, like they're really, really young girls, young kids who haven't even developed to understand what sexuality is.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're being sexualized very early on. But again, that's just me thinking.
That's true. I mean, I do feel bad for that aspect. There are a lot of little girls that follow me too. So I really do try to keep it to PG. Every once in a while, being my age, you just want to do a little bit raunchy, or makes me feel a little bit good. And I'm not trying to be provocative for other people. I'm just literally trying to be provocative for myself.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
It's a shame about the kids, though. So I try, to not post anything with swear words, or I try not to show alcohol or cigarettes or whatever, weed or something, So I try to be really cautious about that. But at the end of the day, it is an app, and the kids shouldn't be allowed on there in the first place, and that's really down to their parents. after a while. There's only so much you can do.
But I also feel like platforms should, because for example, I remember when I was starting out, rules of journalism were very strict on what journalism was and what it wasn't. I wasn't cool with the gatekeeper. Like there's a person who says you are the writer. You know, the rules kind of like helped. You could break the rules if you know, like for example, you'd write an article or whatever, and you could break the rules. Now I feel like anything goes, and nobody says, "Can we rethink this stuff?"
Yeah.
Which is a challenge, but yeah. So let's say you get 100K, whatever it is. I don't understand the business model of the app.
The business part of the app?
Yeah, you know, you have a day job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most kids wake up in the morning and go like, I'm gonna be a TikTok star and I'm gonna make a living out of this. See where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to them, really. If they
No, but you're in the app.
What? Yeah, of course I'm in the app. I'm not trying to be...
Like in the sense, you're already in the app.
Yeah.
You have a great following already. There are people who are waking up and go like, okay, if I get to 10,000, I'm going to, because I know you have a convention of TikTokers who meet and talk about this stuff. I know you've been asked this many times.
Yeah, but I haven't gone to any of them because I'm shy. Which, believe it or not, doesn't make sense since I dance in public.
It does.
Does that? You can understand it.
I feel like everything you do is kind of like, forget my friend, but it's a fuck you to everything that ever told you no, in a way.
It's like a drive-by, you know, like I hit this place quickly and then I'm out. It's like a ninja thing. I quite like it. I like being sneaky.
When you are like 5 or 6, what did you want to become?
5 or 6, I had no idea. 5 or 6 is tough because I wasn't allowed to listen to music with any lyrics, no movies, no extracurricular activities outside of school. I was raised very, very differently.
What? You
I was allowed to listen to classical symphony, but no lyrics, no music videos, no TV, no sleepovers, no stuff like that. My dad was just really, really strict, I guess. And but by the time I was 12, 13, they were going through a divorce, and I had to step in and take care of my brothers. So I really just didn't get the time to do any of this stuff. And I get like the cheapest thrill just staring at a full moon for the first 20 minutes when it's rising.
But it's the most beautiful thing ever.
It is.
I love sunsets and sunrises.
I'm only learning these little like things to appreciate just for myself and what I want, no matter how shallow. Because I just didn't have the time to do that.
Why is it shallow? It's important to you.
Well, people like, what are you doing wasting your time looking at the sun? You know, there's a lot of people like that. Like my father, for example.
No, that's one person.
That's a lot of people have come through. Like my friends will go on a trip and they're all too busy just drinking and talking crap rather than staying quiet for those few minutes and admiring how beautiful something is, like the moon.
But then again, boxes, right? You're not those people. It's your experience that's important, yeah? And I'm glad you're growing older, because when you grow older, I have the same 2-3 friends I've had all my life, right?
Yeah.
And I might not see them every day, but they know who I am. But then also, in terms of the general public, they have an idea of who I am.
Okay.
People who are close to me. It's like, for example, if you can't find me on the phone, what are you doing trying to find me? You know what I mean? If you don't have my number, why are you trying to find me? Because the people who know me already know me.
Okay.
So you find small circles. Find beyond that. I have a very small circle of friends. And my private life is private. My public life is public.
Me too.
So if you want to watch the moon, it's a divine experience, and you don't share divine experience with another person.
And it's only to its fullest that one night, you know?
And sometimes you can sit with somebody who understands it. Because, like, for example, I remember I used to sit with my friend, and my best friend, we just hold her, and we just watch the moon. She would cry, and we just sit there until, like, at 11 in the night. It would feel like we are there for 2 minutes. And then you'd get this overwhelmed feeling. I don't want to explain that to somebody who doesn't get it. If you don't like watching the moon, don't watch the moon.
Yeah.
If you don't like you dancing, then go watch something else.
That's true.
Because otherwise, everybody has the experience, but your life is not the same as everybody else.
Of course not.
You've never been a child for the longest time. One thing I'm discovering as I'm growing older, and I think for the longest time, is most people do not have experiences. They've never experienced anything. They were born in the same family, they grew up in the same village or same town or same estate, they know the same people. They've never gone across the other side.
Yeah.
So when you start saying, they don't know what the crap you're talking about.
That's true. That's true.
And it's not your job to teach them.
I feel like it's a little bit my responsibility.
No,
The
your
Bible even says you have to help those who can't help
Not really.
themselves.
Your job is to live your life right now because you've never lived it. This is the first time you're getting that freedom. It's scary, but it's also really awesome. What's wrong with that? What's the worst thing that could happen if you just lived your life today? You didn't have to answer to anybody. And what is it you would do? There's no dad to answer to, there's no mom. As in they exist, but you have that freedom. There's no boyfriend, there's no friend, there's no work to answer to. What would
I
that
would
work?
definitely travel and do every single extreme sport that I could try. From skydiving to bungee jumping.
What's stopping you?
I have work. Yeah, but kite surfing, there's only like these 2 seasons in Kenya.
You
Yeah.
do that anyways.
Yeah,
So
I
I,
do.
mean that counts in your book.
Bungee jumping, they only have like the really, really tiny little bungee jumping somewhere near, where is it? Where you go whitewater rafting. There's an area here where you go whitewater rafting, but it's not very high up. But I'm actually planning to bungee jump for my birthday in 2 weeks on the bridge between Zambia and Zimbabwe. So done, yeah. So the things I'm wanting to do, I'm slowly doing it, even with the dad and even with work, and it's good. And I feel like TikTok really helped.
But it just proves my point. Like I did a Filipino girl and there was like all these rules and Catholicism and all that.
A lot of Catholic guilt, a lot.
Yeah. You have Catholic guilt too?
I mean, yeah, it still rubs off on me, which is good though, because it just stops me from doing anything bad to another human being or just being a disloyal person, because I just feel like I'll be judged for it after.
By who?
Divine universe. I can't say God like a Catholic anymore. It'd be silly to think that we as humans are the only highest form of...
The question would be, if God or this creature or this thing created us, do you think they're there to punish us? Because that's just dumb. It just sounds dumb.
I mean, I don't think too far as to what the punishment is going to be, but just the fact that there potentially could be some sort of judgment, I just feel lead people in a more narrow and straight way, which I like. There's also women that be like, oh, they live your life, and they just end up completely promiscuous. At the end of the day, that takes away something from you. So I think a little bit of religious guilt never hurt anybody. It always kept yourself like with certain limits, which is good, probably.
Is there stuff you've always wanted to do, but this guilt keeps you from doing it?
Well, yeah, like I would meet a boyfriend, and I'd be like, well, this has to be it. You know, it can't be more. So that's like the worst of the Catholic guilt I had. And then I just became more okay with, see, you're with a boyfriend. If it ends, it doesn't matter that you have to go meet another person. You don't have to marry every single person you're with.
The church says that, but nobody ever follows that in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then there are people who like, oh my goodness, they go to the priest and again, just living your life. I mean, I know it sounds so like easy to say, but it's the hardest thing to do, because what does that even mean? You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
Live your life. I think a little bit of standards is okay. A little bit of limits is always good.
What are your limits right now? What would you not do?
I definitely wouldn't go and have like a one-night stand.
Why not?
I don't know. I just feel like it's very awkward. And to share something personal like that with someone, like sleep with them, you have to know what kind of individual they are. You know, I feel it takes away a little bit from you every time you share a part of yourself with a person, especially if it's the wrong one. And that's as far as the Catholic guilt goes.
Okay. You're a very careful person, yeah? Like
To a
you like
certain
following the rules and stuff.
Well, obviously not if I'm dancing all over in public during a pandemic. So there's certain limits. Like I won't just go hug a bunch of people, or if someone's coughing, I'm not going to dance next to that person. So I just make sure there's enough like air circulating around me to do these things in public, and that's as far as it goes.
What do you do for your birthday?
I think to go visit one of the wonders of the world, which is Victoria Falls, I think that would be a good enough birthday experience. No?
Okay. It feels nice to be a child, eh?
It does.
For once in your life, just...
It does. No responsibility like towards another human being to control my personal life.
What does your siblings think of you now, your brothers?
They don't know about TikTok.
Or they'll say daddy?
They won't. They're my baby brothers, so they're going to be very judgmental, and they're going to question a lot of the videos.
Sorry, how old are they now?
Like one is 23
Yeah.
now, the other one is like 21, and the other one's like 18, 19.
Wow. Would you do a video with them?
They would never do a video with me. They're just too cool for their sister.
Really?
Yeah.
But you was too cool to do this, like, what, a year ago? You never thought of doing this, would you?
No, yeah.
You're the elder sister.
They see me kind of like a mother. Imagine if you saw your dad or your mom doing this stuff on TikTok. You'd be like, some of it's inappropriate, you know?
But I think also right now you'll find that you're transitioning to be their sisters now.
Yeah, it's definitely more.
There'll also be that respect. You're their sister at the end of the day.
I'm starting to show the flaws and everything. I'd be like, look, I get upset too, and look, I do silly things too, and you just deal with it. You're adults now. You can't judge me as if I'm the adult and you're the children anymore, you know?
Did your mom come back in the picture? Do you have a relationship with her? Do you talk to her?
No.
Do you miss her?
It's hard to miss something you don't really know. So, I guess not.
Wow. When you had girl issues too, like girls' thoughts and girls' questions, who did you ask? Who did you talk to?
I didn't have girls' questions and girls' thoughts. I had my brothers. I had my brothers to look after. And everything else I learned from school.
Seriously, you've never been a kid?
Just like, even today, I don't even really know how to put on proper makeup.
You don't need it though.
Yeah, but sometimes...
That's a compliment though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But sometimes it would be nice to, like, you know, glam up the way other women do.
Now you're coming to my point.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice to go out and be this hot girl and, you know, do hot girls thing.
Yeah.
It's such a weird world, you know. No.
It is. We always have to live by some sort of standard. But not on TikTok. What the hell I want to share.
Maybe we should do a makeover for you or something like that. Just like girl you up and for dinner and that would be like fun.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to like wear heels and stuff.
Who taught you how to wear heels?
I guess over the years you just do it with friends, no? Yeah.
Do you have girlfriends who just like ride or die?
I do. I do have one girl here that's a ride or die. 100%, yeah.
She's like you?
She is actually. She's half Sicilian, Italian, and half Somali, Eritrean. So
Oh, your friend who's dancing with you?
yeah, she's amazing. She's definitely my ride or die girl. She also likes to dress like a bum. So and we go to like the supermarket in like onesies. I'll be the tiger, she'll be the rabbit. Like we just
Why?
comfortable to wear a onesie.
So just clothes.
I mean, I sometimes like to try on my clothes at home, and I've tried on like more dresses for TikTok than I've even worn out. So I guess in a way, I am still interacting with my dresses. It's just there's just nowhere to go at the moment.
What's your favorite experience in life? One of those things that you sit down and go like, wow, I want to do that again.
Skydiving, yeah.
Why?
Because when I first jumped, I jumped tandem, which is attached to the instructor. And I just remember feeling like, oh my God, this is not enough. I need to do this on my own. You know, we'll see. The thing isn't, it's not really cheap either. So you always have to plan and budget around what's more appropriate.
One thing I'm discovering about you, every answer is like just this freedom, just seeking this freedom. I just want to be free. When you're dropping from the sky, it's just that freedom and you're flying like a bird and nobody else in the world has that experience.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome. This freedom.
Pretty much.
That should be like your tagline.
Just freedom.
Mm.
Maybe I'll add it to my bio on TikTok.
It's the freedom of just knowing that you are who you are. And if you don't try to be who you are, life just sucks.
It's like it'll suck who you are out of you. And you're left with not knowing. That would be, I can't imagine what that's like. That must be so horrible.
Yeah. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You inspire a lot of people. Who inspires you?
Myself. Meow. No, I'm joking.
This is funny.
Inspire me. I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't really have like an idol or anything. I know this is gonna sound really cocky, but I really do, in a way, like inspire myself because, I mean, I don't really know what anyone else has done for their life. I mean, I don't want to give the cliche answer like Gandhi or Mother Teresa because there's also some bad sides to those people, you know? So I guess the only person I know I can judge 100% the good and the bad and know the full story would be myself. To be honest, I'm quite proud of what I did for my brothers, and I'm quite proud of the different lines of work that led me to what I do today. And I could have gone and just like used my looks, like a few people have told me over the years, and that's just not what brought me happiness.
Have you ever thought of modeling internationally?
I mean, I did a little bit of modeling here in Kenya, but no. It's also like back in the day, people with freckles, they weren't really considered for
What
like...
freckles?
I have freckles.
Where?
All over my body.
That's the in thing right now.
All these, yeah, now it is. Can you imagine? But at the time when I had them, you weren't like you couldn't get booked for like skincare line or makeup line because of freckles. It wasn't normal. And now I see all over the world people are drawing them on.
We live in exciting times. By drawing them, you have them naturally.
I know.
Kind of from a camera, you know what I mean? Let's be on an ad or something.
No.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? You become famous. You're already famous.
It would make me uncomfortable to have people take a bunch of photos of me and then use those photos afterwards. I'd feel almost like a little bit like a fraud. Like it wouldn't feel natural to me at all.
Sorry, I don't understand that. Why is it's an image of you? Why are you a fraud? What's that?
I mean, because like when there are people who are trying to be models for real, like this is their passion, this is their career, and they want to be paid for it. And here I am, not really taking it seriously, and just offered to me on my lap. Like the few times that has happened, all the proceeds are just put into a charity. So then it didn't feel so bad.
Is it an insecurity in you that just like?
I mean, I know I'm not ugly, but I grew up, like my father always like made fun of my big teeth. My Filipino side of the family would always say that my forehead is like really, really huge. The freckles thing was also very weird growing up in the 90s. It wasn't a normal thing to have. I mean, which kind of little girl would have confidence if all their family members are telling her all these imperfections about her body?
But is that not why you do it?
For example, seeing my photo somewhere or in a magazine or a billboard wouldn't give me the same satisfaction as what I get from my work now. Like when I make a difference or when I manage to get funds into this country, which is really quite hard to do, that's what makes me look at myself and be like, wow. You know, it's not posing and all this makeup and like representing a brand and pretending you're this gorgeous person when you don't feel like that on the inside. So my face is a thing, like it just doesn't, it's not very camera friendly. Like for photos, like you can see the awkwardness and you can see the sweat. Yeah.
The problem with me is I listen to that stuff and I go like, it sounds like all excuses, like the same stuff I would say, yeah? Because I'm shy. You see my point?
Yeah.
Just because I'm shy. And I'm like, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen to me? And then somebody sits me down and go like, do you know how many kids in Africa are watching or in the world? I'm like, okay, I was being inconsiderate. I didn't know that. I was just thinking about me. But then that's the freedom you're bringing to someone by them seeing you, or they look at your eyes. You see all those things that you've said, big forehead, freckles, all that stuff. That is another stand of beauty that wasn't accepted, but now because of you, people are like, okay, that girl doesn't have to deal with that, so they'll deal with the important, the important work that you talk about.
Yeah.
They get to the important work already. There's so many things that stop us from being who we are. Yeah. Like you're Caucasian, you're not Caucasian. Just kill that stuff already. Let's get to the stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm very happy about you right now, because for the first time, you're a child. And it's freaking awesome.
It's really fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
I definitely can't deny that.
What makes you wake up in the morning nowadays, outside of work?
Yoga.
Okay.
I live to do yoga. Like I really love doing it every single day. It brings me peace, and then I like to meditate. Definitely, I also believe in sending a lot of positive energy out to the universe so that it comes back positive to me. I just enjoy waking up because I like the person I've grown into, even through all the crap. So I wake me up.
What's the weird things you do with your friend? You say you guys are just like together, you're like...
Oh, right. Okay, so we like to pretend that we're amazing singers when we're not. And sometimes we can just get lost on YouTube for like an hour and a half, different songs. Like she'll be the guy, I'll be the woman, and we'll change roles, we'll rap, we'll sing. Like it's...
What do you sing? It's a very Filipino thing. Everybody has a karaoke machine.
I feel like someone's making a speech, I'm looking at the microphone.
What do you sing? Like what's your favorite song to sing?
I definitely like Etta James.
I love it.
Yeah, so...
She just passed.
Yeah?
Yeah. I love At Last the most. I used to hear that song when I was a kid, and I wasn't making any headway. My articles, people would really take a red pen and just write, and they'd go like, this is crap. And I'd go listen to Etta James and go like, At Last, and like, okay. At
Last is one of my favorites, and also one like, I Want to Make Love to You, that's really good. And then I like I'd Rather Go Blind.
Oh my goodness, that's a classic.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, those classics and stuff are the kind of ones I listen to. But my friend is a little bit younger, so she teaches me all the modern songs. Like she introduced like Cardi B and all these. I didn't know. yeah, my music is definitely a lot wider now. Very
Sing for us at last, or
No.
Okay, one line.
No, it's not gonna happen.
You're Filipino. You should sing. It's such a thing. Like every family has a karaoke machine.
I know. I would love to.
Why do you fear singing? Why?
Well, I'm not like a singer. I'm not like a, like I don't sing very well.
But singers are not singers. You know what I mean?
No, but they sound nice. Like
Who says?
Well, me, my ears.
There are those people who, if you start just believing, there's nothing you cannot do. If you decide to sing today, you'll be an amazing singer. If you decide to run, you'll be an amazing runner.
Yeah, I do believe in that.
Yeah.
I feel like if you break everything down, it almost seems very achievable.
Because otherwise, the option is like, I can only be these three things.
Definitely.
But then you're really good at doing the three things right now.
So.
I mean, you do your job very well and you dance very well. But then not only that, you're all these other things.
Baby steps. I mean, it all just career-wise has been happening for a while. All this other fun personal things have only been the past few months, not that long. So I still got time.
You do. I'm happy that you're open to it, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And if I sound like a preacher, it's not because just do something you like. Yeah.
Well, soon there won't be a separation in mine. I'm just slowly merging things together.
What's one difficult thing that's just like totally difficult to you?
My father's judgment.
What does that mean even?
Like nothing will be stronger than my father's judgment. Like no other insult or anything anybody can tell me will make me think differently about what I'm doing, except my dad.
This dad's judgment, I don't get it though.
Well, he's my only parent. Well, I felt like my dad, for years, was just always the most intelligent, and knew better, the most ruthless. I always still have very high opinions of my father. So for him to have a high opinion of me would be nice. Cause I'd be like, see, you've done well,
You can sit down and explain this to him, or do you guys talk every day or
No.
once in a while?
We're not that close like that. We just speak on WhatsApp, but I haven't seen him for a few years. I mean, he doesn't want to come to Kenya, and I don't really want to leave.
Again, remember, this is your dad, you're a child. You're their child. This is where it gets confusing. And now this just doesn't even sound like a podcast anymore. This is your dad, you're the child, right? But then also you're growing into the woman you're becoming. Okay, you grew into a woman, and now you're growing into the person you want to become, right? And they're growing older. And the problem with parents, they're not going to be here forever.
Of course.
Transition from being their child into being this person.
Yeah.
You've always been an adult in the room. It's hectic. And at some point, you stop being a child and you become like you can talk at eye-to-eye level. It's difficult to deal with that stuff. You know what I mean? But then how do you bring this into the room? As you grow, you're forming your own life and you're becoming all these things. But the past has to be left in the past but dealt with.
Yeah.
It's hectic. I don't have answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like we always have to live through it. It never really goes away. Experience and what you take from it never goes away. You just learn how to build off it.
Did you have experience in Philippines and England and...
Yeah, I was born in Hong Kong, and then I did primary school in the Philippines, and then secondary school back in Hong Kong, and then a bit of studies in Australia, from Australia, UK, where I did nothing for almost a year. And then I went to France.
What do you mean nothing?
Well, I didn't, I took a year before uni.
Finding yourself.
Yeah, well, I guess, but my dad called it nothing. And then I went to uni in south of France, and after that I moved to Portugal, started working properly. And then from Portugal I moved over to Kenya with the Portuguese embassy.
So now Kenya is like, oh my goodness, I found me.
This is definitely for me.
Why is it for you though? Why do you feel home here?
I've been here the longest. I've been here almost 9 years. I haven't lived in a country longer than 5 years.
Why did you choose to live for 9 years here?
Because my family didn't come to visit. At first, that's really what it was.
Yeah.
Because every other country, from the UK to France to Portugal, they would just come and stress my life out.
Yeah. And these were like, this is my space.
Yeah, and one day my dad was like, I'm never coming to Kenya. So I was like, well, this is where I'm here. This is where I'm staying. My brothers have come. 2 of them have come to visit, and they lived here for a couple months with me. But my dad was very against it the whole time.
You're very much like your dad.
You think?
Yeah. You're both stubborn. Like, you're exactly like your dad.
Don't say that.
One will say this and the other will say this, and you'll be like, we're not meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
Do you look alike?
No.
Or you look like your mom?
I don't look like any of my parents. None of them have freckles. My dad is blonde, blue eyes. My mother is like completely dark with jet black hair. I don't know what happened.
And your siblings?
Yeah, my siblings, we look similar, but I'm the only one with freckles like this.
That's a big issue for you. For me, I find it like a really beautiful thing.
No, it wasn't so beautiful for me. I used to wear like so much foundation to cover it up.
Yeah.
I only stopped in my mid-20s.
But now you realize what a
Yeah.
thing it is, right?
Now I'm like, this is my skin. And
Or you just don't know. I mean, like in the world, it's a value thing now. People are like, whoa, I want to have that.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, that's maybe other people's opinion, but my opinion will always be the most important.
Okay. So they look like you, your siblings.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing, yeah? I feel like you found your home. I think that's important. And you do something that's valuable.
Yeah.
What else can you ask in life? You know what I mean?
Right now,
Apart from
nothing.
growing.
Yeah.
And you have a great friend that you can do karaoke, which you refuse to do with us.
No. I'll probably do a TikTok one day, just tipsy and singing in the shower. We'll see.
Sure. Steamy water shower. You know.
I wasn't going.
What song are you singing?
It will definitely be Etta James.
It's really fascinating, yeah?
Everyone always has like different parts of themselves, and you can't constantly be doing something that attends to all those parts. You know, call it like, I wouldn't say as far as like a multi-personality disorder, but people have different moods and different sides to themselves. You know, like how often do you show every single side of yourself to one person? You know.
Okay, the reason why it's called conversation or Kenyan Stories is always to find, because you know most people when most people do interviews, there's a facade. It's not real. So when I was growing up, I used to read a magazine called Fortune, and they'd do a story on you, and it'd be 20 pages, 5 different writers.
Wow.
So it was really in depth, and that's how I model what I do. And I found out it kind of works because people, at this point, people have seen the fake. They just wanna, and that's why you find a platform like TikTok and YouTube that become really, because it's you. It's not. It's part of you. So
yeah, it's definitely a bit more personal.
yeah. So when I do this, it's about that. It's just about having a conversation, like a real conversation. It's difficult things, and that's why I think it's a privilege. And they're hard things to talk about because
And then you see everything on someone's facial expression, you know, when the subject is uncomfortable or like there are some parts where I'm sitting here calm and some questions where I'm like rubbing my arm the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is.
I have to say, what you do, I wish I had half the courage to do that stuff. You know what I mean? And you're welcome back anytime. And I think that we'll end it there. Thanks for coming. I'm
Man,
so happy
thank you.
Oh, you didn't even introduce yourself properly.
Oh, what? Oh, well, I'm Angelina Spencer. That's it.
Yeah. I've been trying to learn to roll my eyes. It's been years and I still don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to roll your eyes?
No.
You have to look to the side and then up to the other side.
I'm a boy. It
Just
doesn't work.
reach. That's embarrassing.
I'm one like that. So I think let's leave it at that. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was like just such an easy conversation.
It's supposed to be easy.
Good.
Thank you for listening to Kenyan Stories. Remember, Kenyan Stories is a long-form podcast. We sit with some of your favorite artists, some of your favorite business people, personality, people from all over the place who are doing amazing stuff. My name is Daniel Duwa. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, join, share, like all that good stuff. Join me on the next Kenyan Stories. Until next time, goodbye.